Good. All right. So welcome to Third Platform Technology, episode number 4. And as usual, I've got 2 guests in the studio today, Donna and Scott. I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. Go for it, Donna.
This is Scott. I'm only joking. So I'm Donna, and I'm one of the founders of Barter In.
Grand.
I'm Scott, one of the other founders of Barter In.
2 founders of Barter In. So I think we should get straight to it then.
Yep.
Barter In. First of all, whose mad idea was this?
There's a debate around about this.
Is there?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Well, I seem to recall there was some wine consumed that evening, so it's a bit blurry. That's when all the best ideas usually happen. But my recollection of events is that we were chatting about bartering, and one of us said, wouldn't it be great if there was an app? And I said, imagine that you could call it Barter In because it's pure Scottish. But I don't know what Scott's recollection of that conversation is.
My recollection is the opposite. I said that.
And it depends who had more wine.
This will be
right?
a common theme
we're both
throughout.
equal in the wine that night, I think. So
Let's just say we're not encouraging people to go out and drink wine, but
And
it was
start
a
a
Saturday
business.
night, yeah.
But if you want a bit of creativity, a couple of glasses, okay.
Yeah.
Right? So Barter In then. Give us the idea, the concept, kind of where did the idea actually come from then?
Well, I probably brought it to your awareness, didn't I?
well, you've been bartering through Facebook pages for years.
Yeah,
basically.
so basically, whenever I became a single mum, when I left my marriage, obviously you're looking at how you can save money.
Yeah.
And it was a friend through work said to me, have you seen these bartering sites? And I was like, no idea what you're talking about here. So went on to Facebook and discovered that there was pages set up in Facebook where you can swap things that you don't need or use anymore for things that you do need. So this just seemed like a no-brainer to me, especially at the point where I was moving out of the marital home and moving into my own house, and I needed things like new furniture, but obviously had a lot of things that didn't suit the new home. So at that point, that was probably, 4 or 5 years ago, I started to barter.
Okay.
And I would say that I'm now, to use a positive term, I'm a bartering enthusiast.
It's a very positive term.
And Scott kind of just joined in the journey with me whenever we met 3 years ago. I couldn't believe quite the things that I had swapped for what I was swapping them for.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that, I
Yep.
think, later on. So you touched on a really quite an important topic around affordability.
Yeah.
And so, well, before we even go there, I want to come back to the communities that are out there.
Yep.
Because before Scott and I happened across each other, and that's a different story. But before that happened, I really was blissfully unaware of all of the bartering communities.
Yep.
So it was a real eye-opener for me, and I imagine part of doing this podcast, apart from promoting the app and how different the app will be to the standard typical bartering communities, I guess there's a bit of awareness and education to be done around bartering.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, honestly, some of the stuff I've seen in just being exposed for a short amount of time has been staggering.
Yeah. I speak to a lot of customers in my other business, plastering business, and nobody seems to know that it's going on. But you look in the Facebook pages, like one of the pages that you use quite a lot, it's got 22,000 people just in the Glasgow page.
Staggering.
So there's a lot of people use it, but
Okay.
there's a much bigger amount of people that don't know about it, to be
Yep.
honest. So by bringing an app out, we're hoping to obviously hit a wider community
Yep.
and build a community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I think my personal background has been in social enterprise. And I do believe that doing good does you good. And right from the start of this journey, we've said that there's a few aims to the business, one of which is to generate an income, but just as important as that is about bringing communities together, because communities are so, these days you sometimes don't even know who lives 2 doors up from you, but they could be getting rid of something that you really need and you've got something that they really need. So
Yep.
it's about bringing communities together, but it's also about reducing the cost of living for people.
Yep.
And also taking the stigma away from kind of second-hand goods. Like, for example, when I was a kid, and I don't know about you guys, I would have been horrified if I'd have thought my mum went to a charity shop and bought me anything. Whereas it's cool now.
I think it's definitely changed
Yep.
significantly.
It's cool
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's also purposeful for
Yep.
the environment.
Yep.
we watched a programme the other week, I can't remember what it was called, on Netflix, Buy It Now, I think. And the figures were staggering. The ones about how much we buy and waste, the clothing, some of the visuals were absolutely staggering. So there's that purpose to reduce waste as well, reduce landfill. It drives me nuts when I'm out driving. We were talking about this yesterday. Like, a Thursday morning is the collection date where I live for bins, and you'll see things out for collection and you think, somebody could use that sofa, somebody could use that unit. I'm 2 steps away from going chapping the door and saying, can I take that please, for somebody that could use it?
But I think that's one of the things that really drew me in as a great concept, is that it has at its core the whole concept of bartering, which has been around forever, right? It predates the money system, right? So it's been around forever, and we've lost touch with that. And, you know, I talk about, in my other podcasts, I talk about how we've lost touch with a lot of different kind of fundamental things on humanity, but there's such a virtuous nature to bartering, and the concept of kind of somebody else's rubbish is another person's treasure. And we've conveniently forgotten that, and we've absorbed all of this high-end consumerism, must have more, must have, you know, as many things as we can get, and then we just toss it away.
We've become a disposable society. Sofas is a perfect example of this. When I was growing up, I think my gran and papa had the same sofa for like 25 years, and they would never think of replacing it unless it was something wrong with it. Whereas now you get a sofa every 2 years or something. We were talking the other week about Scott's nana used to go down the Barras market, wear books on a Sunday, and used to just hand them in to the bookstall, and the wee woman would give her more books back, and that was bartering. You know, it didn't cost his nana any money, but the woman in the stall was getting a new supply of books. So it does happen, but people maybe don't recognise it as being bartering as such. But as you say, it's been going on since before money.
Forever. And in simple terms, let's just talk about, and we can get into detail later on, but in simple terms then, what is the app setting out to achieve? You know, just talk to us about what a user can expect in terms of how they use it and what they could hope to gain from using it.
So basically you can post any item that you don't need anymore, you can post it on the app, and all other users of the app will be able to scan through, have a look. If they see something they like, they can post onto the app as well, put it in my items. And then they can offer that item for what they've seen that they like, basically. So if you post something, for example, you could get maybe 5 offers of different things, and you might not realise that you need something, one of these things. But so you're getting something that you do need, that you didn't even know you need, and you're getting rid of something that you don't use or you don't want anymore. And
and as a user, can you kind of, you know, look for certain kind of categories or
Absolutely, so categorised into home appliances, like garden stuff, just every category you can think of, just to find your search, basically, define your search.
And I think the good thing is the algorithms, hopefully, on the app, will pick up if you have something on your wish list. Say you're looking for a cooker, and you have that on your wish list, and somebody posts a cooker, it'll notify you that there's a cooker being posted. It also gives you things like distance from where you are. It also will allow users to review other users, so that you can review if you've had a positive barter or a negative barter. And you can upload things into almost like your virtual storage cupboard. Say you're having a clear out one day, and you know the things are too good to throw away, but you don't have time to, upload them all just now and put them on and decide what you want to swap for them. You can just take pictures of them and keep them in your storage cupboard in the app. And then at a time where it's more suitable to you, you can post them, or if you see that somebody's specifically looking for an item that you've got in your cupboard and the app, you can offer that item. And
I love the idea of, because I imagine there's a feed, right? So I love the idea that you can just literally browse, if you like.
Very similar to an Instagram feed, to be honest. So you would just scroll through and see your items, and that's the kind of feed set up with kind of
love that. And I know, so you touched on mileage and distance and stuff. I know user kind of best practice tips, safety is important. I know you're looking at that in an iterative way as time progresses, but can you talk about kind of just your thoughts around that and how you see that progressing over time, just to protect users from, because you said user ratings, right? So kind of malicious activities, or just talk to us a bit about that and your kind of ethos around that.
Well, basically, as you guide your way through the app, there'll be bartering tips come up and keep you right, basically.
Great.
Obviously, if you're going to have to meet people, go to their houses, or have a meeting place. So we're going to recommend people, and this will be through the app, obviously, as well, recommending people, don't go and meet someone yourself. Or if you are, let people know you're going to meet someone.
Great.
Common sense stuff, obviously.
Try and meet in a public place.
Obviously, an age concern as well. We're going to probably
it'll
18
be 18
and up.
plus. Obviously, there's no illegal goods will be permitted on the app, and we will have.
That might disappoint some people.
Well, I'm sure there's other apps for that. But there'll be. I don't know the technical term.
Moderators.
And there'll be things to pick up. And we're also relying on that community. We're talking about creating a community here, a community of like-minded people. So we're relying on other people to flag up if there's anything inappropriate posted on the site. Another thing is obviously is to be honest about your barter. On the app we've got the option to describe it as excellent, excellent, unused, used, good, fair.
In terms of the condition of the item.
So we encourage people to be honest about what they're bartering as well. But as Scott said, safety is paramount, especially, when I think about myself. When I was starting out, I was a woman myself going to houses to collect things. But as Scott said, always let people know where I was, or I took someone with me. And I always would, you have a conversation with the people before you barter, and you build up, a good sense of what they're like. And quite often people are kind. Sometimes there's been times when my car's been broken down and they're like, look, I'll bring it to you rather than you bring it to me. Because the usual process is that if you want something from somebody, you go to them to swap it. That's the usual process. But obviously that's completely up to individuals to negotiate. And one thing that we've been clear on right from the start is that we take safety very, very seriously. And as Scott said, there'll be tips throughout the app. And there'll also be a section of, helpful and handy tips. But the other thing is just to remember, we see ourselves as similar to, say, perhaps a dating site. Bringing two people together to participate in an exchange. Different type of exchange might do, but that's how we met, isn't it? The bingo.
Where the idea really started.
The bingo, the plenty of fish. So we're just bringing two people together and giving them a platform to communicate.
And guiding them on their own responsibility. I just, and I brought it up because I know it's something it's on your radar.